So I apologize in advance for the cartoons and the babbling in the background. Little guy's watching some Super Y. But a couple weeks ago, I bought a new ecig. I had a Tesla mod for a while, and I'm looking for the box. I had it out here so I could show you. I don't have the mod anymore. I wound up throwing it away just because it was completely unfixable. This is what that looked like. The way I broke that, I used it too much and I just wasn't gentle enough with it. I was apparently knocking this part back and forth and it just snapped the wires in there. But anyway, for a while I've been looking at the Eleaf iSticks just because I got this Eleaf Lemo tank, I think it was back in March, and I've been quite impressed with that, so I wanted to test it out together with an Eleaf combo. And since I got this Eleaf iStick, I got the iStick temperature controlled 40 watt. I love it. I can take big puffs, I can take little puffs, I can adjust it to where the puffs are harsher. I don't really like that. But I have it set right now at 26 watts at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It goes from 200 degrees Fahrenheit up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and there is a Celsius option too if you use Celsius instead. It goes from 0 to 40 watts, but I like it kind of a little bit over the middle there. And I'm going to take a couple puffs just to kind of show you, give you an idea. I would say that's like an average size hit for me. I mean, I just do it for a few seconds and then I'm good for a couple minutes. There's quite a few cool features on here. I'm going to start with the ones that I don't really use, otherwise I'll forget about them, but I kind of want you to know what you're getting into, really. It comes with an ego threader that you can... I'll take off my atomizer real fast and just show... Okay, I can't get mine off. Never mind. But yeah, it's an ego thread, and I believe that's the only other size that ecigs come in. I mean, I've always heard of 510. I've never heard of the ego thread before, so don't quote me on that. I just use, just like this, just put it on the mod itself because it is 510 standard threading. It also has, there's a LCD screen display. I'm going to turn the lock and the stealth off of that so you can kind of see what that does. And having it unlocked and off stealth, you can see that the screen turns on. Oh, hold on, I gotta get an angle. And it has a puff counter, that's what that counting is. But I like being able to, this is what I do to turn the screen off. It has the stealth mode, and you hold the fire button and the down button at the same time. And then stealth is on, and that just prevents the screen from turning on every time you take a puff. It just kind of leaves that blinking off of there. And it also, I believe it saves your battery. I don't know how much it does, depending on how much you use the ecig. Also, there's a locking mode too. You can hold the up and the down button at the exact same time, and that will prevent any of these buttons from being pressed, so that you don't accidentally, while it's in your pocket or your purse, turn it up to 450 degrees 40 watt and have it maxed out. Because I mean, especially if you're not used to that, that's going to hurt. I mean, I'm used to this, but I'm not used to it at 40 watts or 450 degrees, so that would really hurt my throat. But it also has, with that puff counter, after 10 seconds of a constant puff, it'll turn off to prevent any shortages or too high of temperature. So you just kind of let it cool down for a few minutes and then you can puff again. I really don't take that long a puff, so I don't have to worry about that. Also, there is a 180 degree screen rotation on it. You just have to press a couple buttons. I don't know which ones, but it'll turn it from, instead of reading your screen this way, you can read it this way, or vice versa. But like I said, I have the stealth screen on all the time, so I don't really pay attention to the puff counter anyways, so I'm not reading the screen anyways. So it just really doesn't bother me to leave it off. And this one, I have a rebuildable tank atomizer on it. I would definitely show you how to build a coil when I get the chance. I haven't had to, so I just haven't. I mean, I didn't want to waste any of the coil. But what I use is 26 gauge Canthal. I mean, I believe that there's nickel and chrome that you can use too. But I mean, I kind of go with the Canthal because it's the cheaper option. But at the stores I go to anyways. But yes, when I get the chance to, and I need to, I will video myself making a coil just so you can kind of see how I'm still a beginner. I would consider myself a beginner, and you can see how easy it is for a beginner. I would recommend this mod for a beginner. It's so simple and easy to use. You just have to adjust it to how you like it, and then you can keep it just like that until you feel like adjusting it again. Another thing I like about this is I used to be a pretty heavy smoker, about a pack and a half a day, and if I want to, if I'm in the mood to feel like I'm having a cigarette without actually having a cigarette, because that's the reason I bought e-cigs in the first place, is so that I could stop smoking cigarettes. But if I'm in the mood to have what feels like a cigarette, I can just turn up the wattage a little bit or turn up the temperature, and it actually it has that little bit of a burn that a cigarette always gave me. So, I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to do that once in a while, but I definitely try to keep it cooler because I want to get away from the feeling of cigarettes. So I just I want to get myself out of wanting a cigarette, so I don't want to even feel my e-cig feel like that. So I think that the versatility of it is really cool. With the battery, the charging, it comes with a charger that I would say it's approximately 3 feet. I haven't measured it yet. That's how big it is. When I charge mine, I usually don't wait till it's completely dead just because I'm constantly puffing. I don't want to go without it. But I have had times where it has completely died on me. And on the box it says it takes approximately 3.5 hours to charge from dead to completely full. But I've had times where I've plugged it in and it's charged from dead to full in about not a half hour, an hour and a half. So it's faster than you think. And also you can use it while it's plugged in and it's not gonna explode or anything, or so it says on the box. But overall, I really like this e-cig. I've been trying to find a con to it because so far all I have are pros, and I know that's not really helpful in a review. Sometimes, once in a while, if I know I didn't tighten my coil down all the way, it doesn't work, but has nothing to do with the e-cig itself. It has everything to do with me building my coil and putting it in correctly. This also has temperature control, and what that does is if the coil is hotter than the temperature that you have it set at, it'll shut off and wait till it cools down before you can use it again. That way it's not burning you and it's not getting too hot and burning your cotton up. And anybody that's ever had an empty tank with a rebuildable or even just a replaceable atomizer, you probably know what it feels like when there's no juice in your tank and you take a hit and you get that burning, awful cotton feeling. Or if it's too hot, you'll get that burning, awful cotton feeling because it burns up the cotton. But this one doesn't do that. This one, it'll tell you that on the screen, it'll say device is too hot, but then after it cools down, you can use it. There's also voltage protection too. And what happens with that is when the battery is below 3.3 volts, the LCD screen will say lock on it, and to charge, you have to charge the battery in order to unlock it just because it's too low and it's not going to run right. So I think there's really cool protection features on it too. And so far I have absolutely no issues. I'm just very impressed with it. And I'm taking another couple puffs just to kind of show you how it goes. And all you got to do is you just hold that big button down to fire it up. And with mine, I blow out a little bit because mine is a rebuildable. And I just always heard that kind of gets you the freshest vapor because it's not vaping whatever is just sitting on there for however long it has been since you took a puff. But this is what I would consider a small puff. Now I'm going to go for a big one. And see, even that, puffing that long on it, for that big of a hit, I don't have any pain in my throat. I don't have any itching or burning or anything. The only thing I feel is, it just feels like there's too much in my lungs. Like my lungs aren't big enough for a hit like that. So overall, I would say that this is a great e-cig to, I mean, even if you just wanted to start out with something like this. I got it on Amazon. I did a lot of searching to get it this price, but I got it for $35 on Amazon. I just had to pay the $35 plus the shipping, and it got here within like 2 days, and since then I've just been very impressed with it. It took a little bit to figure out my adjustments and what I liked on it, but I mean, anything that has variable wattage like that, it's going to take you a little bit to figure out how you like it and how you like how it feels.